I never thought I'd end up here, in a quiet room, sitting in front of a microphone, being asked to talk about my life. Talking wasn't something we did where I came from. Where I grew up, silence kept you alive, and loneliness was something you feared more than death. But somewhere along the road, after enough nights sleeping under dirty bridges, after enough friends died or disappeared, you stop fearing the things you can't avoid. And loneliness, that was the last one left. This is the story of the day I stopped being afraid of it.
I grew up in a place where every kid knew two things. No one's coming to save you, and you better learn to save yourself. My mother was there, but not really. Addiction does that to people. You'd be talking to them, and they'd be floating somewhere far away, like a balloon someone forgot to tie down. My father? Let's just say he was gone before I even learned how to spell the word father. So from the beginning, loneliness was already sitting on the edge of my bed, watching me grow up. But back then, I was afraid of it. I thought being alone meant being weak. So when the older boys from the local gang noticed me hanging around, I grabbed their attention like it was a lifeline.
People think gangs are all about violence. And yeah, there's violence. A lot of it. But the real hook is belonging. When you grow up empty, any kind of brotherhood feels like a warm meal. They gave me a nickname. They gave me tasks. They told me I mattered. And for a while, that was enough. We were kids doing adult damage. Robberies, fights, drug runs, anything that made quick money. We didn't think past the next night. Because when you believe you have a family, you don't question the price. Then came the night that should have told me everything. We were doing a stupid run, in and out, nothing big, but the cops showed up early. I ran, they ran, but they ran the other way. I still remember turning my head and seeing them leave me behind. Brothers, family, gone. I got lucky that night. Somehow I slipped through a broken fence, but the lesson stayed. I wasn't their brother. I was just useful. But I didn't accept it, not then. It's funny how people cling to illusions because the truth is colder than the streets. My face tells the story better than I can. Every scar is a chapter. This one, from a knife fight behind a liquor store. This one, from someone I thought was a friend. And here, a bottle to the jaw during a street brawl I barely remember. People ask me if it hurt. The truth? Physical pain is the easiest part of street life. What really hurts is when you wake up and realize you've survived another night you didn't want to see.
I lost my place when I was 41. The eviction notice. No money, no gang left. Most were dead, jailed, or disappeared into drugs. I walked out with a backpack and exactly $7. That was the day the city swallowed me for good. But here's the thing. Even then, I still wasn't ready to face loneliness. I slept around other homeless guys, even the dangerous ones, just to avoid being by myself. It's wild. A grown man scared of silence. There was this night, cold, wet, the kind that gets in your bones. I was sitting under the bridge with a few guys I barely knew. They were arguing, drunk, loud, violent. One of them pulled a broken bottle. Another reached for a knife. I stood up, stepped back, and something inside me snapped. Not in anger, not in fear, in understanding. I realized I wasn't avoiding loneliness. I was avoiding myself. I'd been surrounded by people my whole life, gang members, criminals, addicts, strangers on the streets, but not once was I actually with myself.
And for the first time ever, I wanted to see who I was without the noise. So I walked away, into the rain, into the dark, into the loneliness I had spent 40 years running from.
That night was the longest of my life. I sat behind an abandoned building and listened to the rain hit the dumpster. There were no voices, no footsteps, no threats. Just me. At first, my mind kept trying to drag me back to the gang, to the chaos, to the noise. But the longer I sat there, the quieter everything became. And in that silence, I realized something unbelievable. I wasn't dying. I wasn't falling apart. I wasn't in danger. I was peaceful. For the first time in decades.
There wasn't a dramatic moment. There wasn't music or a sunrise or some inspirational quote. Just a simple realization. I can survive on my own. And not just survive. I can exist. I can think. I can feel. I can live without pretending to be someone else. Loneliness wasn't the enemy. It was finally the truth.
Loneliness teaches you who you are when nobody's watching. It teaches you what you actually value. It strips away all the tough guy bullshit, all the masks, all the fear. And what's left is the person you were supposed to become. I learned I'm not the monster I thought I was. I'm not the killer the streets tried to turn me into. I'm not the worthless trash society decided I was. I'm human and flawed and still here.
People walk past me and think I'm broken. Maybe I look like it. But I'm not afraid anymore. I spend a lot of time alone now. By choice. Not because I hate people, but because I finally learned how to live with the only person who won't ever leave me. Myself.
If you're scared of being alone, it's not loneliness you're afraid of. It's your own thoughts, your own truths, your own pain. But the only way out is through. Silence can heal you more than 1,000 people around you ever will. And sometimes the distance between you and peace is just one long, honest conversation with yourself.
I don't have much left. No house, no money, no family, no brothers in crime. But I have myself. And for the first time ever, that's enough. That's why I stopped being afraid of loneliness. Because I realized loneliness wasn't the end. It was the beginning.